We welcome those of you who have seen Denver prevail after losing a 20-0 lead as Buffaloes took Denver to overtime. And the Bills then succumb 23-20. This is Dick Enberg, Paul Maguire, Phil Simms, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh with a minute and a half left in the first quarter are scoreless. Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium. A battle for first place in the AFC Central. Both the Jaguars and Steelers are 5-2. No score on a wet surface. Rain most of the day, most of the weekend for that matter. Mark Brunell against Kordell Stewart, and on this short punt from the 44 of the Steelers, Brunell on first down to Smith, incomplete. Broken up by Donnell Wolford.
Well, the one thing that Jacksonville really wants to do, and we knew that, is come into this football game and try to throw the ball to the outside. They're going to try to work on both corners.
Well, they believe in being aggressive on offense, throw it outside, make plays with your quarterback and wide receivers. Pittsburgh, though, on the other hand, they want them to keep throwing the ball because they believe crowd noise and their good rush will create bad plays for Mark Brunell.
Tight end in motion and the flag down. False start. That's the second of this first quarter against Jacksonville. As again the noise a factor.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Watch what happens. Greg Lloyd gives a false step. Greg Lloyd, Tony Baselli, you give him a fake. Oh, that's just enough to make Tony Baselli get up.
Well, Tony Baselli told us yesterday, because of Lloyd being hurt, are our team still aware of where he is on the field? He said, you bet your life we are. I want to know where that guy is.
Only 5 sacks in his 2.5-year career for the giant left tackle Baselli from USC. Brunell down the middle. Open man at the 34-yard line is Jimmy Smith. Smith's first catch. He's had some big games against the Steelers.
Well, a couple of things really strike me on the play. Jimmy Smith going down, it's zone coverage, just finds an open spot in the middle. But Mark Brunell, even though it's raining, the field's wet, the football's a little stick, he just fires the ball. This guy lets it go, and the receivers do a good job of they seem to always make the catch.
You know what I like about Baselli, though, is just watching him on that particular play. Is Baselli, even when the linebacker goes down on the ground, Lloyd went down, he just kind of gets on top of him. I mean, which you're allowed to do.
Sure.
You're not getting back up.
Nearly 15 yards on the play as they measure for a first down. Let's go back to last week against Dallas. Shante Carver able to put some pressure on Brunell as he got around Baselli, and then in a rare circumstance, 98 Carver able to beat Baselli and record the sack. Only the first given up by this #1 draft pick out of Southern California this year. It is a first down for Jacksonville. Jaguars got an early break as Jeff Kopp intercepted Kordell Stewart inside the 40 of Pittsburgh, unable to do anything with that opportunity. Now they're driving again. Whoa, Brunell almost goes down, sees an opening, now throws, incomplete. Open on the sidelines, Willie Jackson couldn't pull it in. Time for an NFL update. Let's go to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, a week ago, Napoleon Kaufman rushed for 227 yards in Seattle today. He's well on his way. Breaks free. This is a 55-yard scoring jaunt. It put Oakland up 7-3. Jeff George has added a touchdown pass, 14-3. Raiders lead the Seahawks in the first, Dick.
Napoleon Kaufman reeling off another long touchdown run. Second down and 10, James Stewart. Not much there. The only runs that have been effective for Jacksonville in this first half have been those straight ahead.
Well, it's when you go sideline, when you're trying to go across the formation or go wide against the defense like the Steelers, where everybody in the defense, all 11 guys, can really run, it's hard to have success.
I'll tell you where it's hard to have success. You see that there's a little diamond or a circle in the middle of that field, and that's where the base is, like second base. And Dick, when Brunell went back, he slipped on that part, and then when you see Stewart try to cut on that part, he was sliding.
Third down and 10. Brunell underneath, complete, and then fumbled by Smith. scramble, and 2 different Jacksonville players converged, and Smith got it back. What an effort. How did that ball stay within his reach?
Well, you got to get a break sometimes. It's a good job. Wonderful protection for Brunell. Finds Smith underneath the coverage. And Kordell Lake, something he seems to do about every week now that he's playing corner, knocks the ball out from behind. You can't cover him, knocks it out. Smith keeps hustling, falls on the ball.
And may have a first down. We'll be back with the second quarter in Pittsburgh. Well, something to praise on both sides. First, it's Kordell Lake with one of his patented knock the ball away from the blind side. Smith makes the catch. Lake, number 37, knocks it away, and then the effort by Smith to rake it in away from danger and pick up a first down at the 23-yard line. Kordell Lake, the all-pro safety, moved to cornerback with the injuries. Chad Scott being one of those, the rookie. Brunell throws it away, and a flag goes down. Well, while they sort out the penalty, let's go back to big play Kordell Lake, or as Sam White says, the Lake effect. Moved to cornerback against the Colts due to the injuries in the secondary. Lake had a sack, a forced fumble, and a return for a touchdown. His impact at cornerback continued last week, chasing down Carl Pickens, punches the ball away, and forces a touchback. And already forces a fumble today.
You know what's funny about Coughlin yesterday? Well, there's roughing the passer on this play here, and I think they got Holmes number 50. But the thing about it is, when we were talking to Tom Coughlin yesterday, he was still mad about that play, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Let's go back to that last pass by Brunell and the Pittsburgh penalty.
Well, it's a blitz by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. First down. And Earl Holmes, number 50, comes in and puts his hands to the face. That's the penalty. That's the reason why they called roughing the passer.
Earl Holmes, his second-year inside linebacker from Florida A&M. Brunell off a fake toss, looking into the end zone, and it is a touchdown. No, he says he's out of bounds. Keenan McCardell. Very similar to a play last week in Dallas where McCardell was ruled to have scored. This one looked like a better effort than last Sunday.
Well, they're down there talking this thing over with. They're not really sure yet of whether it's a touchdown. This may be a touchdown or a holding penalty. I mean, I see Baselli coming out and saying there's a holding penalty. I don't see a flag, but that yellow, the whole end zone is yellow. But McCardell, I mean, the guy that calls this was knocked down. So how can he see it?
Holding against Pittsburgh. We have the distance and a first down, automatic first down.
Holding, defense, number 37. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Outside, Kordell Lake against Keenan McCardell. He plays off something he doesn't like to do. Definitely gets his hands on him. Keeps him from breaking outside. Good call by the referee there.
Well, yeah, you see, there's the part I'm talking about. At the end of that play, did you see the official?
Yeah.
He can't see whether he's in or not. So how can he make the call?
Well, no touchdown, but now they've got 6 yards away from it, first and goal. McCardell acted as though he thought, in fact, he was looking up at the big screen, hoping he'd get a second look at it. Best chance for either team to get to Stewart. And Stewart, who scored 5 touchdowns in the win against Philadelphia 2 weeks ago, takes it to the 3.
Well, one of the reasons why it's so hard to run the football against the Steelers, because number 99, LeVar Kirkland, 270 pounds, middle linebacker, has speed, has a way of always finding the ball. And number 93, Joel Steed, the nose guard, the best in the league at stopping the run.
Yeah, the middle of that defense with Steed at the nose and Kirkland and Holmes inside. Bill Cowher says it's the best he's had in his 6 years coaching here in Pittsburgh.
I don't know. If all the way up here, I don't know if Wydell moved the ball or not. I think at center moved the ball, Wydell.
Gary Lane, the referee.
Illegal snap, offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Who's that? There it is. There's the ball.
Whoa. It slipped.
It just came out of his hand. I mean,
now, that's a free ball. That ball, that's an attempted snap. The Steelers, that should have been a free. That play should have counted. Whoever recovers the ball, it's theirs.
In this case, Wydell just picked it up, and that should have been the end of the play. But the penalty takes it back to the 8-yard line. 2nd and goal. Brunell, the fade, touchdown. What a throw to Willie Jackson for his 2nd touchdown of the season, beating the rookie Chad Scott.
Well, that is really some play. We've seen this a couple weeks in a row from Jacksonville. Mark Brunell just throws it high and hard to the outside of the receiver. Chad Scott has no chance of defending that play. You can't defend the perfect pass.
We saw Mark Brunell throw a 2-point play last week against Dallas that you and I almost didn't believe it then. I mean, this guy can really put the ball where he wants to put it.
Mike Hollis to try the extra point, and all of the field goals and extra points today will have some adventure. The wet ball, the slick carpet here at Three Rivers, and Hollis able to convert, and Jacksonville in this battle for supremacy early in this 97 season in the AFC Central takes the early lead as Mark Brunell fires the touchdown to Willie Jackson.
Mark Brunell, something we've seen the last few weeks from him, when they get down on the goal line, if the defender has his back to the quarterback, they throw the ball hard before the defender has a chance to turn around and make a play on it. And that was an excellent throw and catch by Willie Jackson there.
And they had tall receivers, the Jaguars. Smith, Kordell, and Jackson are all 6'1", even look taller. He throws that ball high with the back, the defender to the quarterback, and an easy score.
We see a lot of it around the league now. Not that many quarterbacks and receivers can do it real well, but we've said many times, Dan Marino started this craze in the NFL back in the mid-'80s, and now to be successful in the goal line, you almost have to be good at that type of play.
Hollis to kick it off. George Jones, the rookie, and Andre Coleman are deep for Pittsburgh. 2 minutes left in this first half. 7-0 Jacksonville. It goes to Coleman, former Kansas State star, who's had some big success returning kickoffs and punts with the Chargers, but he stopped just across the 20-yard line by wide receiver Will Moore. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Steel City, Three Rivers Stadium, and a surprising early statistic. Jacksonville 40 yards rushing against the #1 defense against the rush, and Pittsburgh, the best running team in the league, only 15 yards with under 14 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
You said the proper word, though, Dick. It's early. Give it time.
Bettis to the 23-yard line, a pickup of 2.5. Call it 2nd and 8. The bus is held in check thus far. Rushing yards per game this season. And going into this game, Jerome Bettis, his average per game, 117 yards, second only to Terrell Davis, who certainly rushed for at least that amount today at Buffalo. He had almost that many at halftime, didn't he?
Yeah.
They squandered a 20-0 lead, however, Denver, and then won in overtime at Buffalo. Lots of time for Stewart. Thinks about running and does. And slides down at the 29. That'll be short of the first down. On the slide, they mark it where the ball was, not where the feet were.
But there's so many people at the line of scrimmage by the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. They're playing man coverage down the field. They cover the receivers. Sooner or later, when he breaks this line of scrimmage, Kordell's going to have a lot of space to run in. But all these one-on-one coverages down the field, the Steelers, they've got to make a big play in the passing game somewhere if they have a chance to win.
3rd down and 2. Courtney Hawkins in motion. Stewart shovels it off to Tim Lester, who rarely gets a chance. His 8th catch of the year, and on the shovel, Lester has the first down. Flag is down. 9 yards if on the pass.
Yeah, you're right. You said the key word. This is a pass. This is a pass. So if the ball is dropped, it's just an incomplete pass is all it is. Not a fumble.
Well, this is a play Chan Gailey put in the offense last week. They scored a touchdown with it against the Cincinnati Bengals. There's Chan Gailey, calls the plays. George Jones ran it last week. This week, they changed it up, give it a different look to a different running back.
In fairness to this officiating crew, they have 2 changes because of the bad weather in Denver. Personal foul, face mask against the Steelers. Usually that means one of those offensive linemen on their block got up into the face.
Number 34 in the offense. 15-yard penalty. Still third down.
It's on Tim Lester. So the penalty call stymies the effort of the Steelers as Stewart shovels it to Bettis, and Lester out in front, guilty of the foul. He is the bus driver, as Jerome Bettis calls it. Lester, they played together with the Rams in St. Louis. In fact, Bettis even took Lester as his guest to the Pro Bowl when he made his first Pro Bowl because of his blocking there. Kordell Stewart. Never dangerous on the run. Keeps it, but runs out of bounds well short of a first down at the 27-yard line, where it'll be 4th and 4.
Well, that time the Steelers, they guessed wrong. What happened? They were thinking about picking up the blitz. What really makes the play not work, watch from the top. 2 blitzers come. Nobody can pick them up. Makes Kordell scramble left. Damani Dawson picks up one. Not enough time to look down the field to find an open receiver. Good job of the Jacksonville defense changing things up.
Josh Miller, the left footer, sends a good kick. Reggie Barlow, 35, 40, stays on his feet at the 50, and a terrific run by Barlow to the Pittsburgh 45-yard line. No penalties, a 29-yard return. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium, and a late call by the officials. There was a penalty on the punt against Jacksonville. Gary Lane has yet to explain it to this sold-out Three Rivers Stadium, but it becomes a 38-yard penalty to Tom Coughlin's Jaguars instead of the ball at the Pittsburgh 45 on a dazzling return by Barlow. It's going to be placed down at around the 17-yard line after the penalty.
These fans here, they don't care if you tell them or not. It's against Jacksonville. They just don't care. All I know is that the ball's back down on the 15-yard line.
Referee Lane
70.
has not announced the penalty, or maybe his microphone not functioning.
I think it's right where the catch is made by Barlow, and then there's a block that really did not look. Did not look.
On the return team during the kick, number 24, 10-yard penalty,
Well,
automatic first down.
That's great. They don't have a 24. It's got to be 26. I mean, 24 is going to be hard to do.
Look, who is 24?
We don't have a 24. Sorry. And you're right, Coach. Wait, we don't have a 24. We used to have a 24.
51-year-old Tom Coughlin, as he admitted, he's aging with each day, and the officials are not his favorite people. Give to Stewart, and Stewart, mass attack from the Steeler defense short of the 19-yard line. It'll be second down at about 7. Nolan Harrison, the former Raider, led the charge. Jerry Seaman, the director of NFL officials, chatting with Coughlin before the game. It's about an hour before the kickoff.
Tom looked nice and relaxed and friendly in that pose right there.
I'd like the eye contact.
Oh, it's tough. You know, so many calls determine the outcome of games, and the coaches, you can't help but get wrapped up into those calls, but it doesn't matter. They're going to call them anyway.
Brunell dives across the 25 to the 26-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Kind of thought, you know, we talked about this earlier, Phil, that, of course, we've been here since last night in the booth.
Oh, they working you too hard, Paul.
I think so.
Okay.
But we got to talk about this is going to be a defensive football game, because these are two pretty good defensive teams, and they seem to be doing very well against the run.
Well, you know, one of the reasons, 2 reasons why we know that last week we did Jacksonville-Dallas. The Dallas coaches really talked a lot about how disciplined and how well coached Jacksonville's defense was. The techniques were almost perfect by all 11 defenders. In Pittsburgh, we heard Greg Lloyd tell us, don't be a star when you're out there on defense. Do your job, do your technique, and the defense, the team will take care of the play. And that's what they do so well. They're very disciplined. Just do your job, and that's the reason they stopped the run, and they got a good defense.
Short of the first down. They still haven't moved the yardsticks. The yardsticks are back at the 20. The ball's at the 26.5. Now they move. 3rd down and less than a yard. He's their man on short yardage. 5 out of 5 for Stewart. And he gets the ball and fights for the first down to the 28-yard line.
Well, that's the quickest way I know to take the crowd out of a game.
That's, also, we kind of knew they wouldn't run a quarterback sneak because it's hard to move Levon Kirkland, Joel Steed, the nose guard off, but they do a good job. Come off tackle. Rich Tilsky, number 76, good job of kicking it out and just giving a little room to James Stewart to plow ahead to keep the drive going.
It was interesting listening to the offensive lineman of the Jaguars praise Steed. They said it's not Lloyd and it's not Kirkland, it's Steed that makes this defense work because he's so tough against the run.
A defense at 34, the defensive lineman got to keep people off the linebackers. That's what he does so well.
Kirkland almost got to Brunell, and Brunell scrambles out to the 32-yard line, a gain of 3.
When you're doing this, there was a deal inside with Steed. He makes a move back to the outside, and when he goes out of that position, here comes Levon Kirkland, and they just don't block him. They got Levon Kirkland, they got James Stewart trying to block him, and that ain't fair. Watch Steed now. He comes out to the outside. Here he comes on a deal, which opens up the middle for Kirkland to run in there.
That's right. Little game inside by the Steelers. They do a lot of that early downs to try to stop the run.
Jacksonville leads 7-0, 9 minutes plus left in this first half. 2nd down and 7. Flag down. And it appears that'll be the 3rd false start against the Jaguars in this opening half.
You made a tremendous point, Phil.
Right the snaps. False start. 85 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That was in the first series of downs, and I'll tell you why. And when you put these guys down on the ground for a long period of time, they get impatient. And watch, he just changes his hands. Here he goes, he moved his hand, and that's a movement. Once a tight end gets down, he's a movement. But you're absolutely right. They're staying on the line of scrimmage and down in the stance too long.
It does seem like they stay down there for an unusually long time sometimes. Tough on the lineman.
His rushing ability prominent this first half. Oldham breaks through, and then the pass to Stewart with a good block. Stewart all the way out to the 46-yard line, and a first down for Jacksonville.
Perfect play by the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got a screen. What's the blitz? Come inside. They come free. It doesn't matter. The screen to 83, Pete Mitchell. He delays. Brunell hangs in there. Boom, he comes across. Good blocking downfield by James Stewart. Boy, good job by Mark Brunell hanging in there under pressure to make the throw.
Well, Mitchell's first catch, 13 on the season coming in. Another big play for Jacksonville, and Brunell goes on top, has a man wide open, and out of bounds at the 6-yard line goes Willie Jackson. Carnell Lake beaten on that play as Jackson, who has the touchdown earlier, in fact would have had another, had to slow down. He was so far beyond Lake, he slowed down and still made the catch.
Well, way behind Carnell Lake. Carnell Lake, what happened? He was expecting that time a little help from the safety, but Jacksonville, the play they had on, took the safety out of the play. That's why he had nobody deep. Good throw by Mark Brunell, and a good job by Willie Jackson securing the catch.
46 yards on the play. 1st and goal for the Jaguars. The ball spotted at the 8-yard line. It's from the 8 that they scored their first touchdown. Brunell to Willie Jackson. To the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal from there. Myron Bell, the safety, made the tackle.
Well, let's look how you get a big play. The slot receiver goes up the field, keeps the safety inside. Carnell Lake is up top. He's kind of thinking, hey, the safety's going to go over the top and help me. No, he's not. He gets caught inside. And that's the reason why Willie Jackson was so wide open.
It's going to be funny. You said Jackson have to wait on the ball. I mean, that's sometimes when a guy drops it, he's waited so long. He's so long.
He tense up.
Yeah, he tense up. You either get out of bounds or you tense up.
6 catches all season, 3 in the first half today. The high throw again, incomplete. This time to Jimmy Smith with Carnell Lake covering. There's that same play, had the defensive back turned.
The difference this time is, the defensive back, Carnell Lake's a little bigger, a little more physical. He loves to press the receivers on the line of scrimmage. He beats him up. Now, look at the angle. There's really nowhere for Mark Brunell to throw the football. Good job by Carnell Lake.
There really is, and there's no call there. It's, you look at it and say, well, he's got his hands on them. They both had their hands on each other.
Pick on the little guys.
Yeah.
That was big for him.
smothered by the Steeler defense.
If Mark Brunell cuts it up inside, he's got a chance to score. You be the quarterback this time. He drops back. If he goes inside, Chris Odoms, what a good job of waiting, making Tony Baselli miss the block and making the tackle.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Brunell could have set up that block for Baselli, which would have been an easy block on Oldham, who is a very small man. But what happened is that Brunell went to the outside, and Baselli had no chance to make the block.
Mike Hollis then to try a 20-yard field goal. Barker to hold. And it is good. Jacksonville with a 46-yard Brunell to Jackson pass. The key has another 3. It's 10-0 Jaguars. Jaguars build their lead to 10-0. Bill Cowher down in Jacksonville earlier thought his Steelers were going to win. This field goal would have done it, but it's blocked in the final seconds. Chris Hudson picks it up, and watch Cowher on the sidelines. He has that right fist and elbow up and frustration. Well, he said he would apologize.
That was nothing against you. I was trying to tell you that.
Yeah, he said nothing against you, and you're a heck of a football player. Chris Hudson. He said, my special teams instincts. So Cowher was a former linebacker, special teamer, and that, of course, sealed the Jacksonville win. Comes down to Andre Coleman. Coleman traversing the field, and a penalty flag on that tackle at the 23-yard line.
That's face mask.
Newly activated Curtis Anderson is number 25.
But I'll tell you, in the way that the player goes down, I'm telling you, this is a 15-yard deal. Because you snap him around.
We mentioned earlier, because of the heavy snowstorm in Colorado, there are 4 officials that live in that area. All of them, of course, could not get out. And so around the league, Jerry Seaman has had to mix and match and bring in other officials. So this is not the normal crew. There are 2 extra players in the zebra shirts today.
Well, Jacksonville players are saying it's against Pittsburgh. But those flags came as soon as he was tackled.
It looked like from here, and I don't want to speculate, it looks like he grabs him around the shoulder pads. Andre Coleman.
Here's Anderson.
He's got him. He's got a finger in the face mask.
Curtis Anderson activated just 2 days ago off the practice squad. Number 25.
It's a double foul, Dick. They got 1 face mask against Jacksonville. Holding against Pittsburgh.
On the return team, number 25. They have a personal foul, face mask.
25.
Number 21.
No.
Penalties offset. They're after the kick. The ball will be placed. First down.
There goes Coughlin again. We don't have a 21 either.
Maybe he better get some more uniforms. He's got too many men on his roster.
You know, Dick, Tom Coughlin, he's asking the official, now where's 21, 24? We don't have either one of these guys. Well, we found 21. 21 is right there. There's 21.
Where's 24?
24 is also right there. He's also 24. So
there he is.
Tom,
Now he's
there he is, 21 and 24.
Yeah, even he's stunned by the announcement. Don't forget, folks, World Series Game 7 tonight, right after our coverage of the NFL on NBC. Comes down to 1 game for it all. First down at the 23. Jacksonville leading 10-0. Offense in motion. Appeared to be offside Brackens of Jacksonville. Stewart hit as he throws. Incomplete over the head of Courtney Hawkins. Tony Brackens, number 90, appeared to be offside.
Take it easy, George.
You know, Phil, right after this.
5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So here it is now. You're going to see number 90, Brackens. He goes across the line. It's encroachment. But see, he didn't hit anybody. If he would have touched someone, they would have stopped the play. But he didn't. He tried to get back. He was in the neutral zone. The play goes.
Shouldn't get back.
Jacksonville, 3rd most penalized team in the league a year ago, and they're coming off nearly 100 yards against Dallas last Sunday. Stewart. Pulling his way is Tim Lester, I believe. No, it's Bettis. It's the bus. And the bus now starting to get his engines revved. Watch out. Get both of those big diesel engines going.
And man, it is big when it gets going forward. And you talk to Jacksonville Jaguars, they say once he gets moving forward and he breaks the line of scrimmage, it's hard to bring him down. Defensive backs, if you watch film of the Steelers, they turn down hits and tackles when they come up sometimes to tackle Jerome Bettis.
That's 9-yard run. That's his longest of this first half. Stewart, pump, and throw, and what a catch! Yancey Thick then over Dave Thomas, who had good coverage on him.
You know what? Dave Thomas misjudged this ball. And he really did, number 41, because the ball's a floater. It's coming out. He had it read the entire way. Look at him. He's looking at the ball. He's not looking at the receiver. He never gets back in a position to make the play.
It's an out and up by Yancey Thigpen. They're trying to go deep. The Steelers, they know it's one-on-one coverage because Jacksonville trying to stop the run. Dave Thomas, what's so upsetting, he was in better position than the wide receiver. He's expecting to make the play.
Longest pass play for Pittsburgh today, 25 yards. Here comes Jerome Bettis. What a load. Down at the 20-yard line. 3 big plays in a row for the Steelers.
You know the interesting thing about him, we talked to him yesterday, and I don't know what problems he had with the Rams, because with this team, they love him. This guy loves to play. He loves to run. He loves to get hit. But when he gets the football and he gets an opening, look out. Watch this. Lester gets a great block inside, and then Bettis just bounces it back to the outside, turns it upfield, gets whatever he can get after that, which is another 4 yards.
Good job by Dave Thomas. That's how you tackle him, Paul. Either go with his ankles or just jump on and let him ride you for a couple yards.
44 yards today, third in the league with 821 coming in. And a problem for the Steelers getting the play off. So Stewart comes to the sidelines. 3:55 left in this first half. 10-0 Jacksonville. Bill Cowher played at North Carolina State, recruited by Lou Holtz there. Was a free agent linebacker picked by Philadelphia, knows how to struggle through, make it as a special teamer. He has great affection not only for his stars, but for the last guy on the roster.
His glasses are straight. We'll get to that, folks. We're going to tell you about it. I promise you.
When he gets excited, they can get a little askew, right? Well, Bettis warming up, and that's been his pattern as the game goes on. He gets tougher to tackle. Stewart chased and sacked back at the 32-yard line as Tony Brackens, who can run with the quarterback, has his 5th sack of the year to lead Jacksonville, and it's the 2nd sack of the day against Kordell Stewart.
Well, you're not going to run away from Brackens. This guy has got tremendous speed. He's on the bottom, number 90, almost offside, gets back. Now watch this. Here is his movement. He's running, and Kordell Stewart is trying to run away from him. Just no way to do that. John Jackson, number 65, couldn't block him.
Tony Brackens, we asked him yesterday, do you mind not starting? He says, no, because when I come in, I am fresh and ready to run. We saw it right there.
Stewart going to keep the ball this time. Breaks the tackle. Fumbled the ball, and Travis Davis of Jacksonville comes up with it. There's a flag down.
That flag is a holding penalty against the Pittsburgh Steelers right at the line of scrimmage. That is a holding penalty, and it was so obvious.
Well, Gary Lane will make it official now, but Jacksonville's offense on the field with 3:14 left in this first half. Travis Davis falling on Kordell Stewart's fumble.
Holding on the offense, number 77. Penalties declined. First down.
Veteran Will Wolford, but here's the fumble as Stewart trying to make a big play.
Well, Dick, you're right, but on a day like this, when the ground is wet, the ball is always going to have a little moisture on it. When you're inside, try to keep 2 hands on it. It comes out quite easy that time with the hit by Jeff Lageman.
Jacksonville will have it at the 19 when we come back. Kordell Stewart facing the AFC team best in the turnover ratio, and Stewart has lost it twice today. First, the interception by linebacker Jeff Kopp, playing for the injured Kevin Hardy, and now Stewart hit by Lageman, and the fumble recovered by Travis Davis at the 19-yard line. That's a +9 now for Jacksonville. San Francisco leads the NFL. plus 13. James Stewart. Little safety run up to the 21-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Levon Kirkland and others make the tackle. This is at the start today, but Jacksonville's numbers go up to plus 9 based on this half. 49ers won handily against New Orleans, and one would suspect they probably didn't put any dent in that. Plus 13 might have added to it.
Nah, New Orleans, they don't make turnovers.
Or New Orleans. Mike Davis' team hasn't scored in 2 games.
They're going to set some records, but they won't be good ones this year.
We'll have all the scores and highlights with Greg and the guys at halftime. 2nd and 8 for Brunell. Blitz. Brunell unloads out of the field of play. Carnell Lake was over there covering Jimmy Smith along with rookie Chad Scott.
Well, Jacksonville very good at picking up the blitz, but just watch here. They blitz here, they're faking, and the 2 come off the corner. Jacksonville not able to adjust and pick up the blitz. Chris Odom, number 24, goes over and covers the back. Myron Bell comes in free, nowhere to throw the football.
You saw 24 right in the center of the line, Chris Odom. He has 3 forced fumbles and 2 sacks this year. He's been a big play man with those blitzes. 3rd and 8. 2.5 minutes remaining in this 2nd quarter. Only a 3-man rush. Brunell guns incomplete. Intended for the tight end Mitchell and broken up by Levon Kirkland.
You know, Levon Kirkland, folks, I'm going to tell you something. We saw him yesterday. You talked to this guy. He weighs 272 pounds as a linebacker. And you want to see some mobility, watch this.
Well, here he is, and this says a lot about him. 3rd down, long yardage situation, reads the quarterback, just gets his fingertip on the football, but that says a lot about him as an athlete to leave him in there and 3rd down in those situations.
Well, with 2 incomplete passes stopping the clock, the Steelers are going to get the ball before the 2-minute warning and a chance to get something on the board before the intermission. Finally gets away a good high spiral. Fair catch. And Andre Coleman at the 46-yard line as Brian Barker, who started today as the league's top punter, has not kicked well in this first half. That one good for 34 yards. Last night, the hitting star, one of them, Chad O.J., the Cleveland pitcher.
And he lines the ball into right field for a base hit. 1-run home. 2nd man being waved in. The Indians are in front 2-0.
O.J. liked it so much he had a double later and forces the final Game 7 tonight. And appropriately here at Three Rivers Stadium, Roberto Clemente, his statue. You can see that wonderful statue outside as you come in. Stewart, another pass deflected and caught by the Steelers, not knocked down, as George Jones, the rookie running back, comes up with it for a loss back to the 40-yard line, a loss of about 5.
This was like jump ball.
Well, I tell you, I can't tell you how good the coverage is down the field, but it took so long for Kordell to find a spot to throw the ball. The defenders are able to jump up and knock it in the air.
And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. Jacksonville by 10. Back at Three Rivers, home of the Steelers and the Pirates, and the late great right fielder of Pittsburgh, Roberto Clemente. How many times did he get standing ovation in this ballpark? A lot of folks here in Pittsburgh. Of course, the interest tonight, Jim Leland, the former manager of the Pirates, doing a great job with the Marlins. And talked to taxi drivers, say, we'd like to see this Florida team win for Jim Leland. We miss him.
Well, I'm from Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio,
right?
Yeah.
Cleveland. No, Cleveland. No, the Cleveland.
Played with a shortstop last night with 2 runs about to score was something.
Dick, the defensive plays in the World Series, I think that's been the most thrilling thing as a fan watching the games, just watching how they make so many good plays every night.
2nd down, 16 for Stewart. Throws the ball to the near sidelines. Well done as the receiver shields, Yancey Thigpen shields off the defender, Kevin Devine, and makes the catch at the 45. Where will they spot it? 44. It'll be a 1st down.
This is really impressive by the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. Look at the blitz coming. They pick up both blitzers. Kordell Stewart stands right in there, and the strength of his arm, you can see it. Throwing the ball 25 yards outside on the line. Perfect throw.
You know the best part about that? Deion Figures was sitting right in his face, and he waited for Deion Figures to go up and then come back down and then throw the ball.
Clock running. Pittsburgh has 2 timeouts left. Throws underneath to Courtney Hawkins for short yardage. Gain of just about 4 to the 40-yard line. The clock continues to run. 1:22.
Plenty of time. No use hurrying right here. Second down. Still have 2 timeouts.
Very tough to kick the long field goal today. The punts have all been short from both sides. Stewart handles a low snap. It slides down at about the 33. They'll mark it.
Now you should call a timeout.
Guy's going to hurry him down the ball, apparently.
Well, now they're going to call a play. They're not going to throw this ball into the dirt.
Okay, he likes what he saw in the defense. They're playing zone, so he wants to tackle one more play.
That's away from the rush, and not this time. Brackens has another sack and a fumble, and it goes out of bounds. Pittsburgh will retain possession at about the 39-yard line.
You got to be able.
The clock is running.
You got to know that Brackens is coming. You've got to know that this guy's got great speed. He's already sacked you once from the backside. Here he comes again.
They finally call time. No, it's to 28 seconds before they call it.
Well, the clock stopped because the quarterback is hit behind the line of scrimmage. The sack, they stopped the clock. Pittsburgh got to be alert.
Clock to 39 seconds.
You're going to put 9 more seconds on.
I mean, here is Tony Brackens. He's in an up stance here. He goes inside, then back to the outside. Now watch this. Stewart, you got to know he's there. You got to feel him and protect the football. And he doesn't. Tony Brackens is there, makes the play. What a great play.
His second sack today as he moves his season total to 6. He leads this young Jacksonville team. He had 7 last year in his rookie year and 5 forced fumbles and became a force. The ball going out of bounds. Clock stopped. The final 2 minutes of the half. Stewart, lots of time, throws it away. Going open.
You know, when you ask Brackens about sitting on the bench, you know, and not starting, does it bother you? And he just smiled. He said no. I mean, really quickly said it. He said, and I said, you know your role? He says, I know my role. He said, but the one thing that I really like about it is when I'm on the sidelines and I'm looking, I can pretty much see what the guy in front of me is going to do, if some tendencies that they have, and it really helps me in the game.
And we talked to him to Tom Coughlin, and he says, what about Brackens? And of course, any coach would love him. He just makes plays. He's one of those guys that gets in there, and he always seems to be at the right spot to be able to make that tackle for a loss.
3rd down and 17 at the 41-yard line. Stewart with 5 wide receivers. To the far sidelines. Complete the thick man. Ducks out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Stops the clock. 16 seconds.
Really good job by Pittsburgh. Good call. Good job by Kordell Stewart. Looking for a receiver that can get you enough yards and maybe give you a chance to kick a field goal.
4th down and 6. So far, no field goal unit.
They better give John Jackson some help, because Tony Brackens went back inside of him again. They're trying to block him with just Jackson by himself, and it isn't working.
So Stewart will use a timeout to talk over this 4th down and 6, almost 7 yards for a first down. Norm Johnson, the veteran field goal kicker. No opportunities thus far today. His longest this year, 48 yards at the present time. That's about what this field goal would be, 48, but on a wet field, wet ball. Coming up, Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report. Greg Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth, Sam White update the day's happenings around the NFL. And I was pleased to see that Ahmad Rashad was, he had one of those gift packages for Sam White. Gave him one of his ties. Did you notice that?
Oh,
right into that Halloween spirit. Boy, Ahmad, give.
There's nothing like a free tie, though, Dick.
Hey, if it's free, take 3.
That's right. Well, and, I'd like that. Was that really true? Ahmad had to walk all the way to Green Bay and back, or was that Lofton that did that, walking in the snow? They made it. Ahmad said he had to walk all the way to a game once.
Can I tell you something? Ahmad has never been cold in his life. In fact, he was at Minnesota one time when he was by the heater and he wasn't supposed to be.
Oh.
On the same time, and his cleats melted into the snow. I mean, this guy has never been cold in his life.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, 4th down and 6 for the Steelers, trailing 10-0. Holiday moving into the backfield. Stewart down the middle. Incomplete. In the hands of former Jacksonville Jaguar Curtis Marsh, but knocked away by Kevin Devine as they continue to pick on Devine, the free agent rookie from California.
Well, single coverage outside Kevin Devine, though, watching Kordell Stewart the whole time. Good play in the ball. Just go in, rake the receiver's arms. He has no chance to come down with the ball.
Boy, I mean, it really is a super play by Devine. I mean, he just waits and just goes up in and gets his hand inside. I mean, that's outstanding play.
That shows you how the Steelers are hurting at wide receiver. They just signed a man 2 days ago, and he's played a lot here in this first half. Had several balls thrown to him.
You know, the interesting thing about him, too, March playing, is he run a short slant, he's run a deep pattern, and he's run in a deep post. So it isn't like you just run in one play.
Well, the Steelers watch the one kneel down by Brunell with 4 seconds left, and that'll be the end of the first half. Bill Cowher's Pittsburgh team shut out at home for the opening half. You won't see that very often, and basically Jacksonville doing a good job in stuffing the run. The best in the league, the Steelers on the ground, but Jacksonville, Mark Brunell with a touchdown pass to Willie Jackson of 8 yards and a 20-yard field goal by Mike Hollis have the lead 10-0. The battle for first in the AFC Central. And now let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Domino's, delivering a million smiles a day.
And we welcome those of you who have been watching Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Chris Collinsworth and Sam Weiss. Let's run down the scores for you, beginning with the game that you're watching from Three Rivers Stadium, where the Jaguars are leading the Steelers 10-0. Chris Collinsworth sitting here wondering what's on the Steelers' mind. Kordell Stewart, 7 of 14, 76 yards, a pick, and a fumble.
I have absolutely no idea what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing here. They are a running football team. Jacksonville has not been able to stop them, not the first time they played, not today in this football game. They should never let the defense dictate to them what they're doing. Jerome Bettis is their star, not Kordell Stewart. You've got to get the ball in the hands of Jerome Bettis. Let him take over this game in the second half. Still plenty of time.
All right, Chris, we hate it when Chris is confused around here. In the NFC Central, big game between Minnesota and Tampa. This game is scoreless in the third quarter, the Vikings and the Bucs. At Seattle, the Seahawks have come back to take an 18-14 lead on the Raiders behind 2 touchdown passes, Sam, by Warren Moon.
One to Brian Blades and one to McKnight in the second quarter. But the real story to me is on the other side of the ball. The Oakland Raiders, Napoleon Kaufman ran in for a touchdown, his 5th 50-yarder or more this season. That's unheard of.
All right, Sam, in Arizona, the Tennessee Oilers with a 20-0 lead on the Cardinals at halftime. Steve McNair has gone 35 yards for a touchdown run. And in San Diego, 4 Greg Davis field goals has the Chargers on top of the Colts early in the second half. At Buffalo today, the Broncos and the Bills went to overtime. The Broncos won it, but it wasn't easy. Mike Shanahan hoping his team was ready to play after their delayed trip from snowbound Denver. 3-0 Denver in the second. Terrell Davis takes it up the middle, 9 yards in the score. He went over 200 yards rushing today. Denver led 10-0. They led 13-0 in the second. Todd Collins' pass deflects off Thurman Thomas. Keith Traylor intercepts and goes 62 yards, and Denver was looking pretty good with a 20-0 lead. But Buffalo changed quarterbacks and came back. By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, it was 20-10. Alex Van Pelt, on in relief of ineffective Todd Collins, puts it up. Quinn Early comes down with it, 31 yards, 20-17. Steve Christie from 55 yards out, 2 seconds to play, ties the game at 20. They go to overtime. 2 minutes left in the OT. Jason Elam from 33 yards out, and the Broncos escape with the victory, 7-1. The Broncos on the season. Meanwhile, Terrell Davis's 42 carries, the 4th most in NFL history for a game, and Davis takes over the lead in the NFL in rushing, 175 yards ahead of Barry Sanders. In Philadelphia, the Eagles came back late to beat the Dallas Cowboys today, 13-12. Steady rain falling on Barry Switzer and everybody else at the Vet. Bad news for the Cowboys. First quarter, Troy Aikman sacked by Willie Thomas, hit in the head by Jimmy Jones, left the game with a strained neck and mild concussion and did not return. 12-6 Dallas in the fourth, less than a minute to play. Rodney Peete to rookie tight end Chad Lewis, 8-yard touchdown. The point after, which is not always so certain, was good for the Eagles today. They win it 13-12, and the Cowboys struggle.
And you know, Rodney Pete's the only guy that I know that works less than we do. I mean, we kind of sit around here till halftime. We do about 3 minutes. Rodney Peete went 3.5 quarters of the game for the 2nd consecutive week. And then, oh, by the way, last couple minutes, I'll go ahead and win the football game. It's been amazing.
You have such a way with words.
Thank you very much.
At the Meadowlands, the New York Giants come up winners today over the Bengals, 29-27. Jim Fossil's crew looking for their 5th straight win. They led by 8, less than 2 minutes to play. 29-21, second and goal. Jeff Blake on the quarterback keeper. Watch him stretch for the end zone and get there. And the Giants' lead is down to 29-27. 2-point attempt. Blake's pass is picked off in the end zone by Jason Sehorn. 7 straight losses for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Giants improved to 6-3. That's a pretty good story.
It is, and Chris Collinsworth may not know what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing, but Jim Fossil knows what the New York Giants are doing. I tell you, this guy is really doing a tremendous job. Needs a little bit more conversation about what he's doing in New York. The move that he made with Dave Brown and going with Danny Cannell, 5-1 when Danny Cannell either starts or plays in that first half.
And the Giants are riding a 5-game winning streak in Washington. Baltimore has beaten the Redskins 20-17, the score there. In New Orleans, the Saints shut out for a second straight week. The Niners did it today, 23-0. And in St. Louis, Kansas City moves to 6-2 on the year with a 28-20 win over the Rams. This reminder, coming up after football tonight, Game 7 of the World Series, the Cleveland Indians and the Florida Marlins. The pitching matchup, Al Leiter versus Jarrett Wright. Now, Wright is the 21-year-old for Cleveland who was in the minor leagues on opening day, and as the season closes, he lives the dream, pitching in Game 7 of the World Series. Chris's dream, too. We'll send you back to Pittsburgh for the second half after these messages and news headlines from your local station.
And welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the visiting Jaguars lead the Steelers 10-0. And a quick look at the Coors Light halftime statistics. Total yards in favor of Jacksonville, and the 2 turnovers stopping Pittsburgh drives. And penalty yardage about the same. Jerome Bettis held to 44 yards rushing in the first half. Interesting defensive scheme employed by Jacksonville to bring 9 men up in the box. Mike Hollis to kick it off. The Steelers will get a chance early. And they've been very tough to open the second half this season. At 5 kickoff return touchdowns with the Chargers. Returns that one out to the 25-yard line. Well, anything surprise you in the first half?
Well, I think you said it, Dick. The fact that Jacksonville's defense put everybody up at the line of scrimmage, playing man coverage outside. They're daring the Steeler offense to throw it. They haven't made any successful plays down the field, so I would think they would stay with that defense.
And on the other hand, I think Pittsburgh's got to open it up. They've got to go to 3 wide and start throwing the football.
All right, the Steelers, will see what changes they have made after going through the strategies at halftime. Bill Cowher's team starts from the 25. Kordell Stewart, Jerome Bettis, and Bettis stopped for a 1-yard loss, and you can see a lot of carries without seeing him dropped in the backfield.
Well, let me show you why, Dick. The reason why they are not having success running the ball. Look at all the people up at the line of scrimmage. The safety up here. Jerome Bettis gets the handoff. The Steelers do not have enough people to block the defenders for Jacksonville, and they're doing a really good job of getting their arms around Jerome Bettis and not letting him break the first tackle.
Brian Schwartz from Augustana, South Dakota, the inside linebacker to make that last hit. 2nd and 11. Over the middle, Stewart, incomplete. No fumble, no fumble. The pass attempt to Yancey Thigpen, broken up by Dave Thomas. It'll be 3rd and 11. Comparing the 2 throwers in the first half, Brunell, subpar numbers, 6 for 15, but he had the touchdown, 8 yards to Jackson, and Kordell Stewart 7 for 14, 1 pick. He started to heat up late, but sacked 3 times and fumbled once, lost 1 fumble, and fumbled another time out of bounds. 3rd and 11. And this big sellout crowd has been muffled a bit by the Jacksonville defense. Not much to cheer about. Over the middle, incomplete. He threw it behind the intended receiver, Courtney Hawkins. 3 and out for Pittsburgh.
Courtney Hawkins was open, but he still would have had to pick up another 6 yards. He was 6 yards short of the first down.
But watch what happens. There's really nobody there inside. He might have been able, with a good throw, to catch it and pick up the first down easily.
You bet.
So he slips on the wet carpet, and that a factor. Reggie Barlow back at his own 35, and Josh Miller sends his left foot into a fair catch. Barlow and then falls on it at the 31-yard line. Jacksonville ball, 46-yard punt, no return. Josh Miller with a good kick. Barlow just does escape tragedy for Jacksonville. Back to Three Rivers. Temperature dropping into the 40s. First possession, Jacksonville here in the second half from the 31-yard line. Stewart. And with Atron Means injured and not with the team again this week, second week, he's been sidelined with the ankle injury. Stewart getting the call, pickup of about 3. Tough to move against this Steeler defense once they figure out the offensive strategies. And in fact, in the last 5 games, third quarter, they've shut out the opposition.
Good adjustments at halftime. It just kind of shows you when you go in the locker room what didn't work, what did work. Stay with the good stuff. They do a good job of adjusting.
2nd and 7. Comes the blitz. Brunell goes down. Didn't have time at all. Oliver Gibson and Levon Kirkland charging through.
And you know Jacksonville this week, we talked to Tony Baselli, Tom Coughlin. They spend so much extra time on the blitzes during the week against runs, against passes. Here comes the blitz. Jacksonville still cannot pick it up. Levon Kirkland just runs in. They make a mistake on who to block. He's free.
Well, you look at there's 4 guys downfield in the pass pattern. And what Tony Baselli was telling us, we've got some calls for maximum protection. You can't have maximum protection with 4 guys going downfield.
Sacked more than any quarterback last year, but he also took every snap last year, so he had more exposure. 3rd and 14, protected well this time. Now breaks down, throws underneath to Keenan McCardell. He had a huge game, 120 yards, 7 catches last week, McCardell. But for this talented receiver, his first catch today.
I'll tell you, when they only send 4 after Brunell, the offensive line holds up pretty well.
It's a good job. And Mark Brunell, what I really like is he looks down the field. Levon Kirkland, number 99, again on the tackle. The big man, he's everywhere.
McCardell's going to take some heat. The linebacker covering him.
4th and 6, and Barker's punt. Fair catch, Coleman at the 20-yard line. The Steelers will start there after a 45-yard punt. 12 minutes plus remaining third quarter. Welcome back. Jacksonville leads 10-0. Quick report. George Jones, the running back behind Jerome Bettis. An injured knee will not return to Pittsburgh. Steelers' second possession in this third quarter starts from the 20. Kordell Stewart down the middle. Sliding catch by Courtney Hawkins at the 38-yard line. Deion Figures, the former Steeler, on the coverage.
Well, the one thing the Steelers know they're going to get every time Kordell drops back, it's going to be single coverage outside. This time it's outside technique. Good job of throwing the ball inside and low by Kordell Stewart.
Kordell Stewart, look at the difference. First half this year, 52%, 51 rating. Second half, 7 touchdowns and an interception, well over 100 rating. Tackled at the 40-yard line, a tough 2-yard gain.
The reason I think, Dick, there's a couple reasons for that big turnaround by Kordell Stewart. One, he's a young quarterback, got to settle down, get settled in the game and feel comfortable. The other, I think the coaching staff does a good job of making adjustments at halftime, figuring out what's going to work best for the quarterback to kind of get him going. And we've really seen a remarkable turnaround by him in just about every game.
Bill Cowher said there's something magic about this man, Kordell Stewart. Just exudes confidence and competitiveness. Here comes a roll-out blitz against Stewart. They pick it up. And they're throwing the flat to Bettis. Breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles. First down at the 48-yard line.
Well, the first guy he broke was Brian Schwartz, number 58, who gets out there. And what really helps him on this play is when Kordell Stewart is looking downfield. He sees the blitz coming. Now watch this out to the outside when he hits Bettis. Watch this little move he makes right here. That little stutter step. Hold Schwartz for just a second to give him enough power to get through him.
Boy, you got to have a big heart and a cornerback to come up and meet that man at full speed.
He looks for punishment. I mean, he looks for contact to deliver the blow.
He loves it.
First down at the Pittsburgh 49. He has hit hard himself at the 48-yard line. And coming up from the secondary, Travis Davis. And on the bottom of the pile, Brian Schwartz. Dick Sharon, the defensive coordinator, who has put together a pretty interesting plan against the Steelers today.
Well, Phil brought up an interesting point because when we talked to Dallas coaches about this team. They said they are really a disciplined defense. They all have a position to play, and they all play it, Dick. They don't second guess.
Well, it's a disciplined team. Of course, that's one of the early words they hear from Tom Coughlin. Stewart over there. Breaking tackles as thick pinned in it for 29-yard line. 19 more for Pittsburgh.
Well, if you're a corner for the Jaguars today, you know you have these receivers one-on-one. Dave Thomas against Yancey Thigpen. The first thing you do, protect against the deep ball. The easiest throw for the quarterback, the short inside route. Good job by Kordell Stewart hanging in there and putting it to the body of the receiver so he doesn't worry about the safety or somebody coming up and hitting him and knocking it loose.
Thigpen, who is the leading receiver, 29 catches, has 3 today for 46 yards. Runs into his own blocker, and that forces him back to the line of scrimmage, the 29, no gain.
Well, this is the thing I was talking about this defense, Phil, and you alluded to earlier in this game, is when you look at Bettis coming off the tackle, and he's moving to his left, not full speed straight ahead, and you watch the pursuit pattern of this defensive line and linebackers, they're always in a position to make a play. So you're not going to be able to cut back, and you're not going to be able to get to the outside. They don't allow it.
When you talk about discipline, it's playing the technique proper. That's what they do. They slide down the line of scrimmage, nowhere for a runner to run unless they just overpower the defensive line.
Spotted the 28, 2nd and 9. Stewart to the end zone. Touchdown! Courtney Hawkins. From Stewart to Hawkins, the 2nd touchdown of the year for the former Michigan State star. Ten to 6, and now the extra point by Norm Johnson. And Johnson kicks his 237th consecutive extra point, and the Steelers are within 3 as Kordell Stewart engineers a long touchdown drive. Hawkins for the score. Former Steeler Deion Figures beaten by Courtney Hawkins. Hawkins, who played the last 5 years in Tampa Bay, an unrestricted free agent. Boy, he really did make a nice catch, didn't he?
Nice adjustment to the ball. He looks over the outside shoulder. Terrific catch by Courtney Hawkins.
So it's a 10-7 game. 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. And this crowd alive at Three Rivers as Johnson kicks it off. Spins down to Jackson at the 10. It's a seam, 40, and Johnson gets him down at the 45-yard line. And Jackson appears to be injured on the tackle. No, he's all right. He gets up. Maybe his feelings hurt as Norm Johnson chopped him down with the tackle.
Look at this defense the Jaguars are playing. There's Courtney Hawkins up to the top. Man coverage with Deion Figures. He goes down the field. He's going deep. Good coverage by Figures. He's inside. The ball's thrown over the outside shoulder. Perfect pass by Kordell Stewart.
But you just look at the total concentration here of Hawkins. Look at this. I mean, that is the hardest catch to make in football. And there's a penalty on this kickoff. Here's Cordell's reaction. I mean, he's pointing. Yeah, I did it. You caught it. I did it.
I think Hawkins was inspired by Marquise Grissom.
You got to be really wary of that jaw and lip. Boy, you get hit with that baby. And there's a 15-yard penalty against the Pittsburgh Steelers on the kickoff. Now this was after the play.
Chris Oldham. So that takes the ball all the way to the Pittsburgh 40-yard line, and boy, is that a momentum crusher. A good return to the 45, and then a 15-yard penalty, and Brunell starts at the 40. Noisier than ever as Brunell using hand signals. Plenty of time on the play clock. 13 seconds. Harrison chasing him. Throws down wide open and skidding out of bounds at the 11-yard line is Reggie Barlow. Barlow, who has only 3 catches all year, left alone. It's good for 29 yards.
Mark Brunell, he changes the protection or the play. There's single coverage everywhere. When you're playing man coverage, you flush the quarterback out of the pocket. He has time to throw, and a good job by Reggie Barlow breaking his route and following the scrambling quarterback.
You know what else I like about this catch of Barlow now? You know, a lot of players will just try to make it and score. What he's doing is just making sure I make the catch, get the ball in play.
First down at the 12-yard line. Brunell throws it incomplete. Half threw that away as he was being tackled by Kevin Henry. Jimmy Smith was in the area. No flag.
I'll tell you, they're mad at Kevin Henry. Now watch this here. Brunell is going to get nailed by Kevin Henry. But if we can carry this thing all the way through, I don't know if we have it or not, but he gets up, he almost tries to kick him.
So that almost isn't a flag, I guess. That's right. We almost had it, too.
We almost had a flag. We almost had this.
Second down and 10. Three wide receivers. Throw inside to Stewart, and Stewart is tackled at the 2-yard line. That was close to a false start. With all the noise, it appeared that a couple of the Jacksonville linemen kind of pulling off the stance. And now a referee, Gary Lane, calls for time.
This is a screen, right?
Absolutely. It is a screen. It's something the Jaguars brought. Kevin Gilbride brought it to the Jaguars from Houston. It's kind of a run-and-shoot screen. Just let everybody come, let the quarterback drop back, gauge the pressure, and drop it off to the running back.
James Stewart losing a shoe and going to tie that back to the fetlocks, and away he'll go.
Well, the problem is that these guys tape their shoes on. They tape over top of the shoe. So once they pop out of it, they can't get it back on again.
Yeah, you identify with that. Yeah, that's why you tape it for all the big games. Like today, a big game, you taped up.
I taped up for the meeting yesterday. I knew it was going to be a long, tough meeting.
I like that. Close to a first down as the spot is at the 2-yard line. They're going to measure. And it is short. And in some ways for Jacksonville, it's second and short at the 2. Not all bad. Check that 3rd and 2 now at the 2. Ball spotted just inside the 2-and crack.
Your old coach, Tom Coughlin, he logged some miles, doesn't he, on those shoes? He's up and down that sideline.
3rd down. They dig in defensively. Shoulder to shoulder in Pittsburgh. This is where it usually goes to Stewart. It does this time. Fights, but then he's shoved back rudely by LaVon Kirkland and Earl Holmes.
It looked like he had enough room there to get the first down. When you're a running back in this situation, just lower that head and pick up just a little bit of yard, enough to give you the first down.
He lost inches. The ball now spotted at the 2. It was inside the 2 before.
See, I totally agree with you. James Stewart at that time when he ran in, all he has to do is explode. You've got to go straight forward. Don't look for a hole to the outside. It's not going to be there. You've got to cut it back up in and just blast it.
Coughlin's going to forsake the field goal. We'll see. Timeout called by his quarterback, Mark Brunell. It'll be 4th and a half yard when we come back to Three Rivers. 6 minutes left in the 3rd. A 3-point game. Back 4th. Half a yard. 2-yard line of Pittsburgh. Jacksonville will not go for the field goal. They're going for it all.
Well, Phil made a point when we were at commercial. This offensive line, this team has been up on the line of scrimmage for almost a minute.
Twist. It's going to be close. Steelers feel they have stopped them. They start to celebrate, but let's see where the spot is. They had to get the ball to about the 1.5 yards.
Didn't gain any yard. It's right back where it was. 2-yard line.
Steelers take over on downs. What a stand.
I thought with the spinning of Stewart that he might have made it. Now, he had to get the ball almost to the 1-yard line. Here's Stewart hit in the backfield by Lloyd. He spins.
Good mark right on the 2. Perfect. Greg Lloyd comes from the outside, unblocked, gets Stewart's legs in the backfield. That stopped the play.
What a big stand by Bill Cowher's defense. 2 shots for a half yard, and Jacksonville unable to gain that precious yardage, and Kordell Stewart takes over at his 2, trailing 10-7. Now the crowd going for Stewart. Goes off to Jeff Jerome, and Jerome gets gets 4 yards in a hurry. Bettis, the bus, to the 6. After the play, Tom Coughlin's team stuffed at the 2-yard line. And not happy with James Stewart.
Well, I don't think he can be unhappy with the last play, but that third down play, you create a little crease like that for your running back. In a situation like that, they've got to blow it up in there and pick up the first down or score. And the last play, he had no chance. Craig Lloyd at his feet as soon as he got the ball.
2nd and 6. Bettis lined up inside the end zone. Takes the handoff. Battles his way to about the 9, maybe the 10-yard line, where Clyde Simmons, a veteran defensive end, in on the tackle. 4 more for Bettis.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back to the play. 4th down. Now, we're away. You didn't get a chance to say it on the air. You said they had no other choice but to go for it. Why?
Well, because of what this Pittsburgh team, the offense, did the last time they had the ball. They went right down the field and scored with such ease that you have to think now they got confidence. They're going to do it again to this defense somewhere in the game. Jacksonville, they see it. We need points. Can't kick a field goal in this situation.
3rd and 2. And Stewart rolling, throwing. Caught for a first down at the 13-yard line by Hawkins.
You know, this is really a good play because Hawkins knew exactly where he was. All he wanted to do was get the first down. They're holding him up at the line of scrimmage. Look at this throw. Goes down and gets it. Doesn't have to get a whole lot. All they have to do is get 2.
Well, they're trying to create a little confusion. Watch the receivers. They cross. Jacksonville does a good job of staying with their guys, but you only need about 1.5 yards. Good throw by Kordell Stewart. Down where only his guy can catch the football.
Trailing 10-7. 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Big Ben in motion. Fake to Stewart. And another catch by Thigpen, sliding out at the 27-yard line. Dave Thomas makes the tackle, using Bettis as the decoy, and then the roll and throw.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Thigpen, what a great move he makes out here on Dave Thomas. I mean, we're just seeing the end of it right there, but the Thigpen goes out. He sells the post pattern to him, and it comes back on the comeback. Watch this. Watch him sell this thing. Now, Dave Thomas is with him all the way. Watch him sell inside, boom. Here it is. Man, that's a great route.
Dave Thomas was just tired from chasing him everywhere on that play.
So from the 2-yard line, a first down at the 27, and the give to Bettis. Bouncing off towards out to the 32. Gain of 4 more. Let's check on action elsewhere to Greg in New York.
All right, Dick, this action is in Seattle, and it's courtesy of Jeff George and James Jett. They hook up for the 2nd time today. This is 49 yards and a touchdown, and with the extra point, the Raiders go on top of Seattle. It's 31-18, 3rd quarter, Dick.
All right, Greg, and that Raider team, we all said that no way they're a 2-4 team. Is starting to show their explosive nature. 2nd down for Pittsburgh, and the throw to the wide open Thigpen along the sidelines to the Pittsburgh 47-yard line. 14 more for Thigpen. Remember, just 2 years ago, Thigpen caught 85 passes for the Steelers, then was injured most of last year.
Yancey Thigpen, they did something this time off the play they did last time. He's moving around, going back and forth. Now when he goes back out, the defender, Dave Thomas, just can't stay with him. Look where he is. He thought he was going to come back to him. Good job of the Steelers. Chan Gailey calling the plays, knowing it's man coverage, and just trying to create some holes for the receivers to go to.
See, Thigpen now has hit the century mark on 6 catches. Bettis. 4 Jaguars to bring him down after a gain of 1 yard.
I mean, he makes a yard run look like an eternity. I mean, he had 3 guys holding on to him, and finally the 4th defender who hit him actually brought him down because the other 3 guys could not. Now, when Bettis is moving himself, he's going right out to the right. Now watch this. Here it comes. Count them. 1, 2, 3 guys there, and watch this. Bang. Finally, the 4th guy knocks the pile down.
So you want to be the 5th guy to come up and congratulate the 4. Hey, good job.
Good job, everybody.
2nd down and 9. The bus with Lester the blocker behind Kordell Stewart. Stewart guns it incomplete. A 1-hopper to Hawkins. figures was the defender.
You know, Phil, we've watched Kordell throw a lot of balls low, some of them on purpose, a lot of them not on purpose. Has he got to get that ball up a little bit?
Well, you'd like for him to, but he's playing safe. Anytime you throw the ball inside and you're not quite sure as a quarterback if the guy is wide open, you play it safe. You throw it low where you make the receiver go down and catch it, or it's incomplete. You throw it high, anything can happen.
Including maiming your receiver.
That's right.
Yeah, the old maim deal.
3rd and 9 for Stewart. Again, brings Holiday in the backfield with him. 5 receivers. Lots of time. Wide open. It's Thigpen again. First down at the Jacksonville 36. 15 more for Pittsburgh. This drive, remember, beginning back at the 2-yard line.
Just watch Kordell Stewart. You talk about he's a running quarterback, but here he is. He stands back in the pocket, and he's gotten better at this every week. He waits, nice and relaxed. He bounces on his toes, throws the perfect pass, good balance. Yancey Thigpen does a good job staying active, open over the middle, perfect throw.
Dave Thomas covering him, slipped on the turf. Now it's Bettis' play. He's inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
You know, Dick, they just beat you up. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers just beat you up. They get Kordell Stewart sitting back, and he's throwing the ball, as Phil just described the play before. And then they pound you with this guy. And when I'm talking about, you talk about running into a hole, this is what gives him yardage. He pounds, he gets his shoulders square, and when he gets his shoulders square, he's going to get another 3 yards.
The passing game has set up those runs, though, because now Jacksonville, leery of the pass, not sticking that safety up in there. There's finally a hole for Jerome Bettis to run to.
Jacksonville leads 10-7, the end of the 3rd quarter, but the Steeler hopes are high as Pittsburgh driving for a possible lead. And the young man from Marrero, Louisiana, the son of the local barber, Kordell Stewart. Look at how he's improved in the course of this game. 8 yards passing to 60 in the 2nd, 105 in the 3rd, and he's the 2nd-rated quarterback in the 4th quarter in the entire NFL this year, trying to drive his team into the lead. It's incomplete to Tim Lester, so he sends the blocking back. Lester on the swing down the left sidelines and just missed against Chris Hudson. There's his numbers in the 4th quarter, second only to Steve Berline, 121.8 quarterback rating.
Well, it just takes him a while to warm up, and I'm not taking anything away from Kordell Stewart here because it is impressive how he's progressed as a quarterback. But he comes out, and it's the same coverage almost every time because their running game is so strong. You have to have people in there to stop it. Otherwise, they'll run you over.
3rd down, a long 2. They'll call it 3.
I'd watch for the quarterback draw.
Stewart to the sidelines, complete. Right at the yardsticks. They're going to mark it at the 26-yard line. That's a first down.
Well, they've got to mark it there, too, because I'll tell you why. His forward progress was there. And even if you're hitting him and knocking the receiver back, when you watch where the forward progress is here, here's where the ball is caught, right there at the 26. He's there. Now you push him back the other way. Doesn't make any difference. It's where he comes down and his forward progress was.
Good play by the defender, Davis, but Hawkins had enough room downfield to pick up 3 yards plus in the first down at the 26. That's the 12th play of a drive that started back at the 2-yard line. And the Jacksonville offside was at a false start as Jeff Kopp, number 57, into the backfield.
There's Calvin Pritchett giving a sign. Why is
encroachment defense, number 56, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Jeff Lageman. I said Calvin Pritchett was given a signal, number 94 for Jacksonville. Now you see down on the bottom, the reason this play stops is because
contact.
He makes contact. But Calvin Pritchett's going, that's against them. all linemen are officials, and they're mostly wrong.
And Kopp jumped on Lageman's move. Lageman, who has played a solid game today, forced a fumble. Veteran, one of the few men 30 years or older. They only have 4 on the entire roster for Jacksonville. Of course, a former Jet. Came to Jacksonville a couple of years ago as a free agent. Bettis to the 20. Only a yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 4. We go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Dick, and we take you back to Seattle, where Warren Moon has thrown his third touchdown pass of the day. This is a 17-yard strike to Joey Galloway with the extra point. Seattle says, don't count us out. 31-25, third quarter, Dick.
If only there was more action in that game. Well, that's an old-fashioned AFL contest. Get rear back and fire. Go deep and try to outrun this one.
Go down to the car and take a left.
Here it's 10-7, and second down 4 is Pittsburgh, trailing throughout. And again, the flag's down. There's a good Bettis, and Bettis is all the way to the goal line, and they mark him down at the 1. 19 yards, and the bus is getting it in high gear in the fourth quarter.
The thing about Bettis, though, is, all right, let's give a lot of credit to this offensive line because they make some tremendous holes for this guy. But it's what he does after he sees the hole. His explosion afterwards. I mean, he knows that once that hole is there, watch Bettis' explosion. Now, first of all, it should have been encroachment, but here comes, Lester gets a great block 34, but Bettis, when he sees the end zone, look out, and that's a good call. He didn't make the touchdown.
He'll get a chance here. It'll be Stewart, dives in for the score. Pittsburgh leads for the first time today. Touchdown for Kordell Stewart this year, a 98-yard drive after Jacksonville went for it on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 and failed. Pittsburgh marches the length of the field to take the lead. Johnson's at an extra point try, and it's Pittsburgh 14, Jacksonville 10. Stewart jackknifing in for the score. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Well, a big turnabout. Jacksonville stuffed near the goal line, failing to score, and then Kordell Stewart takes his team 98 yards. The touchdown himself, his 7th this year. Look at that. Half a season, 8 games. He has 7 touchdowns. Steve Grogan, in stats kept since 1970, 12 touchdowns with New England, the most by a quarterback. A lot of people forget, Phil, what a good runner Grogan was.
Oh, boy, in his early days, he was exciting. He made a lot of his runs were long ones. There wasn't none of those quarterback sneaks from 1 yard out.
Steve Grogan was one of those quarterbacks that was very, very good and really never got the credit deserved.
Johnson's kick comes down at the 5 to Jackson. Uh-oh, here's some razzle-dazzle. They did this at Denver last year. They throw across to Will Moore, and one man there, he breaks that tackle, gets a block, and Moore down the sideline steps out at the 48-yard line. That worked last year for a touchdown to Jimmy Smith at Denver. Time out. Needing something to inspire hope, Jacksonville calls on the long backward lateral pass. Willie Jackson cross to Will Moore. Chad Scott slows him down here. It might have been a touchdown. Nevertheless, it gives some inspiration to this Jacksonville team. Smothered in the second half. It's 14-10. They start from the 48. Brunell, nothing there. Tackled, and down he goes for the sack. Jason Gilden, who has his 3rd sack of the year.
What outstanding coverage downfield. And I mean, Brunell had time, but had no place to go.
Well, Mark Brunell, one thing he should have done is get rid of the football in a situation. Jason Gilden, top of your screen, just keeps hustling. The quarterback runs back to him. He makes the sack.
4th sack today. As Paul told you earlier, Gilden and the Steelers have been rough on Brunell here. 13 sacks in the last 2 games at 3 Rivers. 4 more today. He checks the passer that's chasing him down and then throws it away. And out of bounds he goes. The NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com. All the scores and stats, including complete roundup of this weekend's scores in action. Plus, you can chat live with some of the NFL's biggest stars. It's all on NFL.com.
I'll tell you one thing. Nothing is more demoralizing to a football team. If you take a kickoff, you run a trick play, you get yourself in great field position, and then we've got third down and about, what, 15? I mean, that's 14. 14. It's demoralizing. It really is.
Shotgun for Brunell. False start. Chris Oldham went up and gave him the little head fake and a step, and it forced the guard to pull back, Ben Coleman.
I mean, yeah, it is a noise factor. Dick, we talked about this at the beginning of this game.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty, remain third down.
You've got to settle into your stance with this noise. And here's the guard looking, and just Oldham just makes a move in the guard, and the guard backs up. They know the blitz is coming. They just know it's coming. Just sit there.
Fourth false start by Jacksonville today. Third and 19. To the sideline, McCardle to the 50, to the 46. So it's a good game, around 15, 16 yards. But with the penalty and the sack, it's fourth down and still about 5 to go.
You know what? If you don't think Keenan McCardell is tough, he just showed you that he is. You know, he knows he can't make the first down. The only chance he has is to try to split 3 guys, and they all hammered him.
And to punt comes Barker. Courtney Hawkins drops back to return at the 10. Bearcat lets it bounce, and it takes a Jacksonville bounce. And the Jaguars almost too greedy, as that ball looked like it had some more heart left in it, but it stops inside the 2-yard line. And that sounds familiar. Oh, what a feast for the sports fans. A doubleheader of NFL football, and then a Game 7. First time in 10 years to decide the World Series winner. Stay with us right after our final gun. From the 3-yard line, they spot it, and Stewart hitting the backfield, but gets it off to Bettis, and Bettis back to the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by the Jacksonville defense. Jerome Bettis, 91 yards today, and this is just his effort in the second half. Sound effects by Maguire Productions Incorporated.
I love it.
9 yards from another century game. From his own end zone, pump fake. Deep to Big Ben, almost intercepted. Well played by Thomas, and he had help back there with Travis Davis.
This is one he didn't want to throw.
Well, he was trying to kind of create the same throw he did for the touchdown. Just didn't quite get the ball far enough outside. It's a move goal by the wide receiver for the Steelers. He's covered. Kordell tries to throw it in there before the safety can get over. Almost backfired on him.
What I really do like is earlier in this game, when he waited on Deion Figures to come down after he threw, he had Jeff Lageman again up in the air with his hands up in the air, and he had enough patience to wait, even though he's sitting in the end zone.
They take out Bettis and bring in an extra wide receiver and Fred McAfee now in the backfield with Stewart. Shotgun from his own end zone. And a timeout. He was going to get a delay of game, was down to a second. And that'll allow us to visit with our favorite sponsors with 9:51 left in the fourth.
I want to ask Phil something. Why wouldn't Kordell Stewart just take the penalty, let the clock run down, and because it can only penalize him a yard and save a timeout?
Paul, good point. I doubt if he thought about it. When you're out there on the field, sometimes it's hard to react under pressure. But, you know, the rule of thumb is first half, call the timeouts as a quarterback whenever you want them, whenever it serves you best. Second half, when you call those timeouts, make sure they're desperate situations because you want to save them for the end of the game when you have a chance or it could decide the game. You want them at the end to help yourself out.
Third down. Stewart 5 for 8. He needs 10 yards. Winds up in his own end zone. Stewart to the sideline. Thigpen again. His second straight 100-yard game, and Thigpen open all day. And a beautiful throw from Stewart.
Well, one place they can throw the football anytime on third down, Pittsburgh, they can throw it to the outside. Dave Thomas, single coverage, but look, he's getting help underneath by Eddie Robinson, number 50. Kordell Stewart throws it perfectly over the top. Good job by Yancey Thigpen getting his feet down. Big first down for the Steelers.
Boy, that's something, being aware of where you are at all times.
Man, look at that. 8 catches today after 6 last week at Cincinnati. Bettis and the bus couldn't get going straight forward. He fumbled the ball in a scramble. Jacksonville says they have it, and they do. Bettis coughs up the ball inside the Pittsburgh 20-yard line.
Paul, like you said, they get him moving sideways. A lot of people come to the ball. Jacksonville does a good job. They reach in and they get the strip of the football.
Well, the thing about it is, you know, we saw him on the sideline. He was stretching, and Robinson just reached, excuse me, Brackens.
Who else?
Tony Brackens gets in and reaches in and pulls the ball out. But that's the one thing that everybody wants to do with a guy like Jerome Bettis. He's 256 pounds. He's basically a halfback. And to get him going sideways, anything can happen.
Travis Davis with his second recovery of the game. Brackens making another play at the 17-yard line. Trailing 14-10 with 9 minutes left. Brunell throws it away. Good coverage. Jimmy Smith, the intended target.
Good rush. Joel Steed.
Well, Joel Steed with the pressure again. Pittsburgh, look at all the people here. They're going to send the blitzers. You cannot pick them all up if you're Jacksonville. Single blocking by the offensive lineman. Joel Steed always gives Dave Whiteout, the center, a big problem.
2nd and 10. McCardell to the right. Smith to the left. Back, much like Tim Lester for Pittsburgh. He gets a rare bone, a chance for a pass or a run.
I'll tell you, Brunell gets nailed. And Ty Halleck, I would talk to him because he sees Myron Bell, and you talk about short arming. Watch this, Jason Gilden in, he hits, but watch Halleck. He sees the safety. He looked right at him, never looked at the ball. I mean, if the quarterback's going to take a shot, then you better catch that ball.
Jason Gilden putting on a good lick on Brunell. It's 3rd and 10. Brunell has hit on only 4 of his last 11. Complete inside the 5. He threaded one to beat Mitchell, the tight end. There were Steelers all around the receiver. 4 men surrounding Mitchell.
I'll tell you what, Chris Oldham was pointing at Mitchell, saying there's nobody to cover him. And Mitchell comes out. As they were lining up, Oldham was pointing down. This is a perfect pass, but he was pointing down at Mitchell, saying there's nobody over him.
Mark Brunell stood in there a long time, searched the field, and then threw a rocket in there to complete that pass.
The Steelers with a goal line stand earlier in this quarter. First and goal at the 4. Brunell rolls wide open. Mitchell for the touchdown. No, they didn't take a chance in running Stewart this time.
Well, why? I mean, they haven't taken a chance to run the football since they missed it down here on 4th down. Every play has been a pass. That time they get the Steelers. They get the Steelers in a tough situation. Play pass from down that close usually works.
Well, look, he's just faking like he's going to block right here, and he does. He takes a shot at Lloyd out there, but then when he slips out, there's nobody here. You see Carnell Lake coming in. I don't know if that's his man or not, but it was the man on the end of the line, so it would have been he's the corner on that side.
Alice for the extra point. Trouble with the hold, but getting it down smartly was Barker. And so the Bettis fumble at the 17 costs the Steelers 7, and Jacksonville reclaims the lead.
This is Bob Costas at Pro Player Stadium in South Florida. Less than an hour from now, we'll have the first pitch of Game 7 of the World Series. Garrett Wright for Cleveland, Al Leiter for the Marlins. Dick Enberg, as you know, there's something about a Game 7. The mere words are filled with drama and anticipation. Oh, my.
used that a lot watching that game last night.
You're talking about pressure, though. I mean, just think what those players are feeling to get it down.
How about young Wright? Youngster. I was lucky enough to call his dad Clyde Wright's games when he pitched a no-hitter with the California Angels, and Sandy Alomar was his second baseman, the father of the catcher of the Cleveland Indians. 17-14. Jacksonville. Andre Coleman. 20. Slithers across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. Brunell to Mitchell on 1st and goal at the 3.
Well, here's how Pete Mitchell comes across, gets so wide open. Kordell has him, comes across. Man coverage, play action, right at him. Oh, no, he goes for the run. Too late. Good job by Jacksonville.
But I'll tell you, Mitchell sets it up by blocking on Lloyd. Now, here's the fake here. But what, you know, and he comes back outside. I mean, this is just so perfect. Almost a bad pass.
It wasn't an easy catch either.
No,
So good job by Pete Mitchell.
That's his first touchdown catch of the year. Now it's Stewart and Pittsburgh going to work. Down the middle. And then Hawkins had it for a moment. Hit by Dion Figures. No flag. Time for an update. Let's go to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, we're going back to Seattle. Guess who's back at it? Warren Moon, 28 yards. Joey Galloway on the receiving end, his second. Moon's fourth of the day. The Seahawks are within 2. 34-32, Oakland, fourth quarter, Dick.
Oh, what a game out there in Seattle. A battle between the Seahawks and Raiders trying to stay in contention in the AFC West.
I love those great defensive games, don't you?
Don't you, though? I don't think anyone's punted in that game. Stewart, a draw. You can hear the Jacksonville players yell draw, and it's Bettis carrying out to the 30-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and about 8. Key turnovers, 3 of them today. The first, Jeff Kopp, that was in the first quarter, didn't cost the Steelers. Then Stewart, this one cost them because they were moving into scoring range. This one was perhaps deadly as Bettis fumbles at the 16-yard line, and 4 plays later, Brunell hits Mitchell for the go-ahead touchdown, 17-14. And Jacksonville continues to be very tough in that turnover ratio, plus 10. 3rd down, 7.
Boy. I mean, how many times can you jump off sides in a game? It's
Yeah, the false start when they have the ball and jumping off.
Encroachment defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Bill Cowher taught us something in our meetings with him. We talk about penalties. Jeff Lagerman just jumps offside on the hard count. These are called, you hear it a lot, this is what he calls stupid penalties, pre-snap penalties, jumping off sides, illegal procedure. And then the other one he taught us, holding on a running play. Why would a lineman ever hold on a running play where he hit them, let our runner, especially when you have Jerome Bettis, he says. But a good point to us to remember when you watch these football games.
So instead of 3rd and 7, it's 3rd and 2, and that brings Bettis back into the picture. But they throw anyway. It's good for the first down to the tight end, Mark Bruner. So we got a Mark Brunell throwing for one team and a Mark Bruner catching for the other. And they both played at the University of Washington, in fact, were teammates.
Well, 3rd and short, number 87, Mark Bruner. Pittsburgh likes this little role play. They do it from a lot of different formations, usually to a wide receiver. This time they change up. Same play to the tight end.
Still plenty of time, 6.5 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Jaguars by 3. First place in the AFC Central at stake. Both teams starting 5-2. Stewart, they pick up the blitz, and almost catching that one on his back was Courtney Hawkins, falling backwards. Terrific athlete in his high school days in Flint, Michigan, where he was not only an all-state football player, was an all-state basketball player, and was all-state in track. Went to Michigan State and then was picked by Tampa Bay, where he worked the last 5 years.
Well, his cleats get caught. Watch this, because he's all alone, and he just starts to stumble, goes down, and almost makes the catch. It would have been a great catch. It was wide open.
Dion Figures, the corner, also fell down trying to make a break. Slipped on the wet turf.
Hawkins to the left. And Yancey Thigpen in motion. He's had a huge day today. Hand off to Bettis. And he's hit by Brackens for a loss. Tony Brackens showing in his 2nd year that he is one of the premier defensive linemen in the NFL. It's that time of year again. Well, this is must-scream NFL as well as these fans nervously cheer for a Pittsburgh comeback again. The throw is underneath, complete to Hawkins, and Hawkins tackled shy of the first down. That was a third down play at the 50. It'll be 4th and 1.
Boy, I'll tell you, Chris Hawkins and Eddie Robinson, you talk about converge on a receiver.
What do you do?
He wants to go.
He's going to go for it.
Why not go? You got a bus. You got a bus and a driver.
Yeah, the bus has come to a stop, and that means that, they got to gear up again.
That's right. 4th
and 1, and Bill Cowher at midfield with just under 5 minutes left. Gambles.
Now, they do have the quarterback draw, and if he goes underneath the center, it's got to be a quarterback sneak.
Nobody in the backfield with him. He rolls to the left. He's hit. He's got the first down at the 48. That's what the versatility of a Kordell Stewart gives an offense.
Kordell Stewart goes under the center. If you're playing defense, they put in 5 wide receivers. Everybody's out. Nobody, what you call in the box. Kordell Stewart ad-libs, goes outside.
You bet he does.
Takes a big chance, but he makes it.
That's what I was going to say. He did. This thing is called, it's a quarterback sneak, Dick, and he sees the outside. He figures, I'll take it this way. He has the choice of going any place he wants to go.
He needed a yard. He got 2. First down at the 48. Pittsburgh keeps possession. Just over 4 minutes left. Trailing by 3. Blitz. Goes long. Out of bounds. Inside the 10. What a game for Yancey Thigpen, the 6-year receiver from Winston-Salem State.
One thing that Yancey Thigpen does in this play here is he just sells it himself. He's waiting, and as Stewart turns to look, the ball's back over his head, thrown short, the pass you love. Throw a little short, let him go get it.
You're the quarterback. Just throw it out there. Then let the receiver make the adjustment. That's what these guys are doing. The defensive backs are in great position, but they can't see the ball like the receiver can. And Yancey Thigpen makes a good adjustment.
A career game for Thigpen, 170 yards. They mark it just outside the 7-yard line. Stewart, defend, Hawkins, incomplete. Beyond Figures covering for Jacksonville.
Well, I'll tell you, there's some people who are upset here. Bill Cowher's halfway down the field. He's on a 25-yard line on the field. He better get off the field. He's upset. He thought it was holding by Deon Figures.
There was some contact. There really was. But that time, the ball, no matter what, could not have been caught. Deon Figures.
Well, there's the holding.
Well, from the sideline, they could probably see that very well. It's on Pittsburgh's side. But the ball was definitely overthrown.
Just driving back at the 3-yard line. Give it to Bettis. Bettis turning it outside. They hit him low and drop him at the 6-yard line. Eddie Robinson there along with Brian Schwartz and Deon Figures.
Deon Figures, he really did the right thing. That time, he didn't take on Bettis up top, Dick. He went after Bettis' feet. He said, let me go knock him off his feet or get him slowed down and hope I can get some help, which he did. That was a terrific play by a corner.
Figures at 197, giving away some 55 pounds.
Good job of tackling again, though, by Jacksonville's defense. All day long, they did a good job of tackling the running backs for Pittsburgh.
Hawkins in motion. Stewart guns the ball. Complete, but tackled at the 1-yard line is Hawkins. And now another decision for Bill Cowher. Do you go for the tie? Almost automatic. It's less than an extra point distance. Or do you go for the big bundle?
Well, they went for it on 4th and 1. Now they're bringing in the field goal.
Yeah,
it really is. This is smart. Let's tie this baby up. Our offense is playing very well. Our defense is playing very well. The only reason that Jacksonville got a touchdown is because they got a fumble way down deep in the territory and they moved the ball. But basically everything is functioning well.
And it's on the 2. I thought it was on the 1-yard line. It's a good solid 2 yards.
So Johnson to kick the 19-yard field goal. Mike Tomczak holds. And it's tied at 17. 2 long drives by the Steelers here in the 4th quarter. A 17-all tie. Jacksonville with 2:21 left. All the timeouts remaining.
They each have 2 timeouts.
They did use one earlier, didn't they?
Yeah, they both did. They used one earlier, and this is what you were talking about earlier, about timeouts.
Well, you try to save it in the second half, that's right, but you look at this game, games decided by 7 points or less. Pittsburgh play a lot of close games, so they're used to being in this situation. And Tom Coughlin told us yesterday, he says, hey, for the 3 years I've been down here, every game we play comes down to late fourth quarters, decide who's going to win it. So they're used to being here, too.
You know what's amazing, though, is he was talking about it, Dick, was at the Philadelphia game, they were so far ahead. He said, He said, you know what? I'm trying to figure out how to run this clock. He said, I had guys in there that never played before that I knew would never play. Well, he said, I'm looking on the field and said, what are these guys doing out there?
That's right. They've never been far enough ahead to get some of his substitute players in the game to give them some experience.
I'll tell you, is he excitable or what?
He's awesome.
Both these coaches, you love to play for him. When you did play for Coughlin, you know how intense he is.
Yeah, he is. And also Bill Cowher, I think, really interesting the way he coaches. We think the old way, and I've always thought you really got to be hard on the players and disciplinarians. And, of course, Bill Cowher is, but also he has this emotional side that he attaches to his players, and they respond very well to it.
Well, Johnson kicks it off. Comes down to Jackson. Willie Jackson Jr. looking for a crease. Waltz is waiting and then is hit forward to the 32. Now let's take a look at the Miller Time game summary. Jaguars Steelers tied. Brunell, Stewart with the better numbers, but has thrown an interception. Brunell with a couple of touchdowns. The unexpected, well, off his game last week. Thigpen, you could expect him to do well, but a career game for the wide receiver from Winston-Salem, 170 yards.
2:10, 2 timeouts. Here Jacksonville, where do you go?
Throw it. That's all they've done all day is trying to throw it, so I would be surprised. But
we haven't seen any screens.
Well, a couple screens by Jacksonville worked very well.
And they screen it. James Stewart to the 36-yard line, a pickup of about 4. And that'll take it to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left in the fourth. Jaguars, Steelers, 17 all.
I'm Greg Gumbel in New York. An unbelievable game in Seattle takes yet another turn. Todd Peterson's 38-yard field goal puts the Seahawks on top of the Oakland Raiders 35-34. And a world of time. 11:07 remaining in regulation. Let's go back to Dick Enberg in Pittsburgh.
First to 50 wins, Greg. 11 minutes yet to play out there. Wow. It should be a rule.
First guy to 50 gets it.
17-17 here in Pittsburgh. Jaguars ball, 2nd down and 6. This crowd waving their terrible towels on its feet. They show blitz.
Changes the protection to pick up the blitz.
Brunell waiting, throwing incomplete. Good defense by the rookie Chad Scott on Jimmy Smith.
You know what? When you sit there and watch Brunell all day long stand in that pocket, and he's taking some shots, Phil, I mean, this guy has total confidence in his offensive line. That's the only thing you say about it.
Well, it's a good system. They know how to pick up blitzes. Pittsburgh's bringing people inside. Chad Scott down the field, hits the receiver. Illegal contact, but a good job of still defending the pass.
3rd and 6. 154. They don't make the first down. Steelers will have plenty of time to drive for a winning field goal. In trouble, throws it up for grabs. Almost intercepted by Scott. That was much like Dallas last week on the final Jacksonville drive, where he threw one up in the field of play, intercepted by Stoudemire Dallas.
Well, when you're going to throw it away, get it out of bounds. And Tom Coughlin, very upset, which he should be. With your quarterback and you get in trouble, you're trying to get rid of the ball, just throw it straight out to the sideline, get rid of it, don't give the defense a chance to make it.
The inability of Jacksonville to run the ball hurts them again. Long high kick by Barker at the 15, fielded by Coleman, puts away from one man and then takes a 2-yard deficit as he's tackled at the 13. 49-yard punt, -2 on the return, and the tackle by Dana Hall. Game 7 of the World Series of A lot of critics and cynics about this particular World Series between the Indians and Marlins, but you couldn't beat last night's game, and as soon as this one's over, we're hustling to a TV set. You get a Game 7. They start way back in March, and here almost November, one game decides who's best in baseball.
You know, it's amazing. You know, you sit there and you look out in football, you go into the playoffs, and it's one game and you're out. Well, here you got, you know, if you get the first game, hey, we lose it with difference. You know, it's okay. We can make it up. Ain't no more, pal. This is after tonight. Ain't no more.
Every man in that lineup, every man in the dugout, maybe that chance to be the World Series hero. So stay with us. Meanwhile, Kordell Stewart from the shotgun at the 13. Got 2 timeouts left. 1:37 remaining. Throws it long. Almost intercepted. It was intended for Curtis Marsh, and in better position on the play was the defender, young Kevin Devine.
Boy, did Kevin Devine position himself perfectly, Phil.
Well, he does a good job, Paul. You're right. Stays on the inside. The receiver turned and looked for the ball early. He turns. No foul, no penalty. Like you said, had a chance to intercept the ball.
But it's what a difference between that play and the one Yancey Thigpen made when he was, you know, not looking at the ball and just waiting until the last second to catch it. What is a striking difference?
Draw play as they from the shotgun go to the draw. Fred McAfee, the veteran from Mississippi College. And timeout. Jacksonville calls the timeout with 1:23 left. They have 1 remaining. 17-17. Bill Cowher against Tom Coughlin, each with a 5-2 record coming in. And we welcome those of you who have been watching the Indianapolis Colts and the San Diego Chargers. The Chargers continue the Colts' misery on this year, 0-8. San Diego moves to 4-4. And here, 17-17. Jacksonville led 10-0 at the half. Then 2 long drives engineered by Kordell Stewart. One ended in his 1-yard dive for a touchdown, and another to a field goal. But a fumble by Jerome Bettis at the 16 of Pittsburgh led to a Mark Brunell to Pete Mitchell touchdown pass that gave Jacksonville a lead, and then the field goal by Pittsburgh. We have 1 minute 23 seconds left. It's 3rd down and a long 5 for the Steelers deep in their own end. They have 2 timeouts left. Jacksonville with 1. Stewart down the middle of the field. Incomplete. Courtney Hawkins, the receiver. And it was broken up by Deion Figures, the former Steeler.
Well, one of the reasons why the Steelers ran the draw play on the 2nd down to make Jacksonville use up one of those timeouts in case they didn't get a 1st down, to make it harder for them. Now, after they punt, make it harder for them to come down and score and kick that field goal. But again, single coverage. That time, good coverage, couldn't complete the pass.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pass, though. That ball was up there one more step, and Hawkins might have had it.
Josh Wall with the punt. Beautiful punt. Look at this thing. Still going. The kick of his life for Josh Miller to the 9-yard line. 74 yards. His longest previous kick, 63.
You know, Tom Coughlin cannot be happy with Reggie Barlow. And I'll tell you why. I mean, you've got to be able to get back there and never let this ever happen. Never let that ball be kicked over your head. I mean, this is really frustrating. You work on special teams. They work all week long. And to allow the ball to be kicked over your head.
They spot it now at the 10, so officially now 72 yards. Nevertheless, the longest kick in Miller's 2 years in the NFL. But most of the punts all day have been very short by both kickers, and all of a sudden, he unloads a rocket.
I understand he unloads a rocket, but you've got to be able to come up on the ball.
So what do you do here? Try to run out the clock?
Well, apparently not. You're in a shotgun. Wide receivers.
Sideline, complete to Jimmy Smith, doesn't get out of bounds. It is a 1st down at the 24. 16 yards on the play, 54, 53 seconds, 1 timeout left.
Showed me a little confidence in my arm, didn't it?
Boy, I tell you what, Jacksonville, Tom Coughlin, it's time to go, he says, and he doesn't care if they're backed up in a away game, noisy crowd. Let's get it done.
the sidelines, complete. That'll stop the clock as Smith again is the target with Chad Scott the tackler. Kordell Lake applying the pressure from his cornerback position.
Well, Mark Brunell feels the blitz coming from the top of your screen. Kordell Lake coming. Jacksonville doesn't pick it up. Mark Brunell, though, still throws the ball to the sideline. Jimmy said, look at that throw. Mark Brunell, excellent thrower to the sidelines. Good strong arm and accurate.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Chad Scott, he's had 2 of them come out to the sideline, out to him now. Don't go biting on anything.
An injury, so we got another quarterback in, Rob Johnson. Ball at the 36. Johnson scrambling. Puts his head down to the 44-yard line. Will they use their final timeout here? Yes. 27 seconds showing. Rob Johnson from Southern California, who played so well earlier in the year when Brunell was injured. We'll be right back. Reason Mark Brunell not in there appeared to be the left hand when Kordell Lake hit him on that blitz. Here it comes.
Well, watch him grab his left hand as he goes down. Look, he's protected it already as he falls to the ground. He has his ring finger and middle finger on the sideline taped together. That's pretty difficult for a quarterback to throw a football when the 2 fingers are taped.
Well, Rob Johnson in there. No timeouts now. 27 seconds. Second down and 2 from the Jacksonville 44. Game tied at 17. Full house blitz. Johnson eludes it. Runs it out, but that'll also eat up the clock. It continues to go. It's close to a first down unless they stop the clock for a measurement.
You got to call for a measurement as a quarterback. Go up there. Well, no, they marked it short.
No, it's a half-yard short. They can see it. It's on the line.
Well, this is the last play unless they down the ball. 6-5-4. End of regulation. Johnson guns it long. Intercepted by Chad Scott. Scott lateraling to Bell. Bell tackled at the 28. We're going to overtime.
That's a good job by Rob Johnson, just throwing it down the field in that situation. Give your player a chance. Hey, could be pass interference. Get one more play if it is. And again, the Steelers, new quarterback comes in, these type of situations. What do? Hey, blitz the guys. From the top, they're coming, and they're coming free.
They just don't have enough people to pick up it when you got a corner blitz coming and Kordell Lake comes in. That's the second hit he's put on a quarterback. He already did knock out Mark Brunell, knocked him out, but he hurt his left hand.
Kordell Lake was telling us that you Steeler fans will recall in the 60s, Roy Jefferson still is in the top 10 all time in Pittsburgh receiving. And Roy Jefferson is Kordell Lake's godfather.
Yep.
And would babysit for him. His dad and Jefferson went to University of Utah together, and Jefferson nicknamed Lake when he was a baby Screaming Sam, because all he did was cry. Boy, he's been screaming in on quarterbacks today.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we're going to go to 1 overtime period. The first team to score is the winner. We each have 2 timeouts, and we'll play a 4th period. That is heads, that is tails. Call it in the air, Tony. Tails. Tails is a call. It is heads. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Let's get it first. Tony Baselli with a comment.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. First 2 wins. Each will get it 2 timeouts, a 15-minute overtime period coming up. Back in Pittsburgh, the Jaguars and Steelers in overtime. And a reminder, Game 7 of the World Series from South Florida. The Indians and Marlins to decide the World Series championship. Game 7. That first pitch is scheduled for 10 minutes to 8. So it's time for this overtime, and we should, time permitting, get down there about for that first pitch. So stay with us on NBC. Mark Brunell injured that finger when hit by Kordell Lake, so it'll be up to Rob Johnson if the Jaguars get a chance. Steelers won the toss. They get the ball. Mike Hollis to kick it off. Brett McAfee and Andre Coleman are deep for Pittsburgh. Period, each with 2 timeouts. McClain from the goal line. And pushed out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. Kordell Stewart, the young quarterback from the University of Colorado, 267 yards, career highs in attempts and completions. Thrown one interception that was very early in the game, didn't factor in. Jacksonville did not take advantage. Did have a fumble that stopped a drive when he was sacked, or actually hit by Jeff Lageman as he tried to scramble for yardage.
Isn't that amazing? That interception was the first pass play of the game. He threw a pass, intercepted, and he had to throw one. But you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not lost the game this year at home.
They lost to the Cowboys at home in the opening game of the season.
Yeah, that was a Monday night game.
All right. Okay. Straight ahead goes the bus, Jerome Bettis, who closes in on a 100-yard game. That 3 on that to run his total to 97.
It was interesting, though, talking to Greg Lloyd yesterday about this game, and he says, you know, maybe Jacksonville thinks it's really an important game, but it's just, you know, it's another game to us. We have 8 more after this. Bull.
He was the only guy.
Yeah, that's right. He is the only guy. This game is important. This is Central Division league.
That's right. And the coaches talked about this was an important game for both of them to get in position to play well the rest of the year.
2nd and 6. Stewart looking for Thigpen. Incomplete. No, there's a flag. A late flag, but a proper call. Looked to be an early hit on Courtney Hawkins by the Jaguars defense.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you had 2 other officials on the sideline, judges, and they're sitting there looking at it, and they don't call it. And the guy way down in center field.
Pass interference, defense, number 27, automatic, push down.
Call on Deon Figures.
Well, I think it's a good call. It looks like Deon Figures is going to drive through the receiver before the ball gets there. Contact is made before he gets there. He puts the right arm around him. He was in position to make the play, but just drew the contact. The official saw that.
All right, let me clear you up. When I said they haven't lost a game in overtime here, 5-0, overtime. I didn't get a chance to finish that 5.
So it's a first down on the interference call at the 41. Good cover.
Thank you very much, Dickie.
Any score wins it. Stewart just does elude the rush and completes the pass. Thigpen again as he's closing in on a 200-yard game.
Yancey Thigpen has tremendous hands, quick hands.
Yes, he does. He has good hands, and it's a good throw by Kordell Stewart. There's a blitz. Look at the blitz. Coming off the side. Good pickup by the Steelers. One thing they do very well, they pick up the blitz. Yancey Thigpen, hey, good throw right to the body of the receiver.
I'll tell you one thing. Old Dave Thomas is a tired puppy.
179 yards on 10 catches, a career game for Yancey Thigpen. 6th year. They go for the first down, and it's Stewart straight ahead toward the yardage to the 48-yard line of Jacksonville. Mark Brunell, meanwhile, in the sidelines, you saw him icing that throwing hand, a dislocated finger. They've reduced that. It's back in place, but iced, and of course on that throwing hand really would hamper his abilities.
Well, he did right at the beginning, Phil. He did put tape on it, and then he took it back off again.
First down at the 47. Welcome those of you who have seen the Tennessee game against Arizona as the Oilers win 41-14. We're in overtime here in Pittsburgh. Jacksonville and the Steelers atop the AFC Central. 5-2 records coming in are tied at 17. This is the first possession of overtime, and the Steelers have the ball at the Jacksonville 49-yard line, 2nd and 12.
You know, people, you look at it and you say, okay, you know, why do you waste a play and give it to Bettis? You don't waste a play. I mean, this guy is the main part of your offense, Jerome Bettis, and you keep everybody honest by him playing, giving him the football.
2nd down and a dozen. Stewart, throw complete. Immediately tackled is Mark Bruner, the big tight end. Eddie Robinson made the tackle at the 43. It'll be about 3rd and 5.
Well, Kordell Stewart today he's shown you everything. Throwing the ball to the outside, handling the blitz, moving around, tight end open, quick over the middle. He sees that little gap between the defenders, gets rid of the ball quickly.
Big play here. The Steelers, if they make a first down, would be closing in on field goal range.
You know, you watch Kordell. You know, we saw him slash and all these other things. He's growing up fast, Phil.
It's really, Paul, it's hard to believe the strides he has made so quickly in this season and all the things that a quarterback needs to do.
Safety blitz, the throw to the 26-yard line goes Thigpen again.
The Steelers, they are great at picking up blitzes. They've done it every year. It's a blitz coming from the safety way back. The linebacker comes, boom, they hit it. Kordell sees it. Man coverage outside, it's too easy.
Thigpen's total now with this catch, 196 yards today. 11 catches now, both are career highs.
Look at that.
Norm Johnson, the veteran field goal kicker. Stewart now in the Steelers can afford to play it safe. Just give Bettis, get it close. Bettis with one more, powers his way to the 22-yard line. Game 7 to decide the World Series. The Marlins and the Indians to follow this game. Coming up next, first pitch is scheduled for 10 minutes to 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Now, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, the coaches, whatever, I play run, run, run.
Just if they're going to pass, go ahead and let them have it.
Well, you got to play. You got to take chances in the passing game because you've got to keep them at least somewhere around the 20-yard line where they are, where their field goal kicker might miss it.
Fake to Bettis. Stewart chased away by Schminke. He fakes that pass and runs it to the sidelines to the 17-yard line, just short of the first down.
Well, that's another good job by Kordell Stewart. Nobody open. Jacksonville does a good job, but he creates a little something with his speed. When he comes out, what he does, he makes defenders kind of break down and react to what he's going to do instead of attacking him. And that's one of the reasons why he's able to always go down the field and get positive yards.
You know who else makes that thing work, Brunner? I mean, he just stays on his man downfield, Dick, and he's blocking the whole time. He isn't even looking for a pass. He figures Kordell got enough talent to just pull it down and go in by himself.
3rd and 1. Hawkins in motion. Bettis behind the quarterback. Stewart, shovel pass. The Steelers have won. In the Central with a 23-17 overtime win as Kordell Stewart, a shovel pass to the fullback, the bus, and he's in the terminal. Jerome Bettis with the winning touchdown with 9:13 left in overtime. What a game! Overtime win for Pittsburgh, 23-17, overcoming a 10-0 deficit at halftime. Stay tuned for the World Series. For Phil Simms, Paul Maguire, I'm Dick Enberg. So long from Pittsburgh. You've been watching the NFL on NBC.